Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you.
Maybe we could just kick off with a brief introduction to From Where They Stood. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about what this film's all about.
Yes, so this film is about these clandestine photographs that were taken by deportees themselves inside the SS-controlled concentration and extermination camps. This excludes transit camps and ghettos, so exclusively in the concentration and extermination camps. And it tries to find the locations and the places where these photographs were taken from. And at the same time, like the other movement that the film proposes is that through this, by doing this, to try to look at the photographs better, in a better way. And the other intention, the other idea is that maybe through this, we can manage to have, even if fleetingly, to approach the perception that those that took the photographs had.
It goes into such great detail, going through all these photos painstakingly and revisiting these sites, speaking to experts who know lots about those areas. How long did this all take? And, you know, what was the experience like for you of delving through all these archives and visiting these places for yourself?
Okay, so I've actually been working on this issue for the past 20 years. First of all, I approached it through the drawings made by deportees. In that process, I discovered these photographs, the clandestine photographs, but I decided not to include them in my first film because I was a painter in 2014. That was about drawings. And then I felt the need to do this sort of second part, in a way, on photographs. I've been to these sites many times throughout this process, all alone, also with visiting with historians, also visiting with my crew as we were preparing for shooting, and then of course during the shooting, which is a very strong experience. In a way, working on the images and the specific work allowed us in a way to transcend this abyss, these depth that you go through when you are dealing with such a topic and in such a place. And also this question of the perception of trying to, at sometimes, even if so fleetingly, feel that you grasp that somehow that perception that the authors, that the deportees might have had, and you want to share that, try to at least share it with the others, with the viewers. Yeah. So this was such a long and long process that throughout it, of course, I have gone through all kinds of very complex and different emotions that are sometimes contradictory as well. So in a way, what you see here in the end, what comes out in the film is sort of what boils up from all this all this process, sort of like the foam that comes from all these emotional waves that are very different, but in a way that is a quite accurate reflection. And I would like to add that throughout this entire work was guided by the survivors and the victims. Already 20 years ago, I met a survivor, Boris Latinski, who had produced images, drawings, and afterwards in Buchenwald. And then I met others, and I had other encounters, and all these people that I met and their stories, they were always on my mind and in my memories as I was and I walked through these sites, or as I looked at the images. They were always there. And this is very important because this is what really helps you hang on. Because as you're doing this work, you owe it to them to maintain dignity. And this is this is almost an ode to these heroic people, because doing this requires an unimaginable degree of courage. So they were guiding us throughout the entire work preparation, the shooting, and of course the editing, because a film also is done in the editing, and their guidance was crucial, and this is very important.
And the Holocaust is something that has been dealt with, you know, many a time in sort of in movies, in exhibitions. Why do you think it is still remains incredibly important to still revisit these moments and these atrocities in different forms in this film, you know, through these photographs that have been found? But why do we still need to revisit these stories? Why do you think it's important?
So yes, actually I do not intend to do a historical film. I do not intend to do historical research. This is very important, this basic. What I intend is to propose a reflection on the images. So in that sense, this is very different from all the other films, studies, researches that have been done before that are seeking for the historic knowledge. And precisely it's thanks to all that knowledge that has been found and built upon through all these decades of work, that I can now look at these images, okay? And I'm not trying to find knowledge through them. This is not a historian's work, but I'm using all that work that is still being created and still being found. So this film could only be done today because that knowledge didn't exist before. For instance, the identity of Alberto Herrera, the man who took the pictures the pictures from the gas chamber, was only discovered in the past 10 years. Before, we didn't know his identity. Okay, so all this knowledge that has already been discovered or has allowed me to do this. So I do not intend to tell the Holocaust. I do not intend to propose any kind of intellectual knowledge, which is, as I said, crucial, fundamental. But thanks to that, to propose a sensitive knowledge based on that. Now I find that there's a necessity to try to propose a sensitive knowledge. And also through all of this, what's important is the reflection on the image, on the nature of the image, its limitations, its imperfections, its possibilities and its impossibilities. And through some of the most extraordinary images in history, as they were taken, they were produced in some of them in one of the worst and most atrocious moments of our history. So the intention is to question the images, not to try to tell them.
Thank you so much. That's so fascinating. I'm almost out of time, but I guess my final question would be, what does it mean to you to have this film showing as part of the Berlin Film Festival? And is there an additional resonance to be showing a film about the Holocaust in Germany?
So yes, of course. You do have to take into account that this film is a German co-production. That's important to mention. So part of, not just of the production, but also of the crew is German. And so, of course, I couldn't hope for a better place to hold this film's premiere. So I'm extremely grateful to the teams of the Forum and the Berlinale. actually for this film, this was much better than dreaming of going to Cannes or something. Berlin was the place. Now, there's something that someone pointed out just recently, which is very ironic, and it's that this right now, this film that reflects on images and on the physicality of images is having its premiere in a virtual way. But well, let's hope that when there's the edition, the part of the edition in cinemas in June, that it will be able to also be screened that way. So that's the only irony of the situation.
I was thinking that just as I was watching it, in fact, that so much of the film is almost like being at an exhibition, and I felt I wasn't fully able to experience it just watching it on my laptop as opposed to seeing it in a cinema. So I can totally see how it will be a wonderful moment when that can finally be in a cinema screen. Well, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on this really wonderful film. And thank you so much for all those incredible insights. It was lovely to speak to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Christophe.